Have you ever looked at somebody and thought to yourself, how does this person have so much of control over his life? Why does everybody follow him? Why does everybody listen to him? This person seems to have this natural charisma to charm everybody and full of confidence. At that moment, it feels like they were born to be leaders. And you just sit there and think to yourself, well, I wish I could have that kind of confidence in my life. I wish I could have that kind of control. I wish I could make people listen to me. I wish I could lead people. This was exactly what was going through my mind 3 years ago. Let me tell you about myself first, and then I'll tell you a story. Hey, I'm Vivek. I was born and raised in Nepal, and I moved to New Zealand when I was 18, around 7 years ago. Now, being in a different country comes with its own challenges, different cultures, different languages, and different people. Despite of all these challenges, I have learned and experienced so much here that I could have never experienced if I was back in Nepal. Among several lessons though, there are few things that I want to share with you guys today. And these things might be one of the most important things that changed my life completely. That gave me confidence, that gave me reason to believe in myself. In this video, I'm going to share 5 secret strategies that has helped me to control my life and that has helped to influence others. Alright, let's dive into the first strategy. But before that, let me share the crucial turning point that led me to the discovery of these strategies. 3 years ago, I met this friend of a friend who used to have this exact charisma that I wanted. He could easily impress anybody. He had such a confidence to speak his mind. He used to get away with anything. Sometimes we used to go to the parties and people just used to circle around him. He was like a leader of a group. It did help him that he was a native speaker, but he wasn't the best looking. But still, people were so charmed by his charisma. At that moment, I knew that there was something else he had that I didn't. As curious as I was to find out what it was, it made me very self-conscious. I used to think about it all the time. I used to think that maybe I wasn't meant to be a leader. Maybe I wasn't meant to be heard. Maybe I was a born follower. Maybe I was meant to be just sit there and listen to others. Maybe that's all I'm supposed to be in life. An average person. An average person who looks different. An average person who talks different. An average person who thinks different. But one day, this thought came to my mind, and it came out of nowhere. I asked myself, yes, you want to make people listen to you. Yes, you want to make people admire you. Yes, you want to make people follow your lead. But what are you exactly doing to turn this into a reality? This one thought changed my perspective entirely. One thing I never believed was natural gifts. I never think that somebody could be just gifted at birth. I think that if you have a right formula and if you work as hard, you could achieve anything in life. Literally anything in life. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I am wrong. But this has served me very well in my life. With this mindset, I decided to study him. I decided to find out what is that which makes him so charismatic, so influential. I studied him for weeks, for months, and not just him but people like him, taking notes of their every actions, their every emotions, their every steps, every little things. But what I found was beyond what I expected. It wasn't about charisma. It wasn't about confidence either. There was something deeper. That magic formula I still remember, because that was a day that completely changed my life. And today might be your day that will completely change your life. If you are a shy person like me, or if you are a person who wants to have more control in life, this video is for you. Listen very carefully when I tell you these 5 secret strategies. Strategy number 1, reduce dependency. This could very well be number 1 reason for your lack of confidence and your ability to lead people. It sure was for me. I'll give you an example. Few years back, I didn't have a car. I was a broke student and my work was quite further out from my home. For those who don't know, we don't have the most reliable transport system here in New Zealand. So getting somewhere usually takes a little bit of planning beforehand. That's why I used to ask my friends to drop me off at work sometimes. My friends were quite generous to take me, but I always made sure that I compensated them either through gas money or buying them a lunch. Things were great and I knew that they were doing a huge favor for me. They never had a problem with it. But even though everything was fine, I always felt this sense of powerlessness. I always felt like I was living at the mercy of others. If for some reason they decide not to take me tomorrow, I had to change my entire plan for the day. In my mind, it might just be in my mind that I had to always please them so that they will keep taking me. When you are living like this, you are living at the mercy of others. You no longer have control over your day, over your life. When I think about it now, it was a difficult time. Not just for me, but anybody who would be in similar situation. Either it's a transportation, financial support, or even emotional support. This reliance on people causes you to lose control over your life. This makes you feel powerless, the worst feeling in life. So, what can you do to reduce this dependency? First, make a list of the things that you depend on others for in your daily life. It could be anything. It could be transportation like me, or house chores, or even a project that you are working on together. Once you thought about the things, write it down. Now, I do understand that you will need to rely on people to a certain extent. Even if you need to rely on people, you need to make sure that you always have a backup plan. Having only one plan is like expecting this coin to flip on his head all the time. Do you reckon that's possible? So why are you compromising your life by just having one plan? You cannot let one person control over your life. You cannot let one person have so much of power over your life. In my case, the best thing would have been to buy a car myself to reduce that dependency on my friend. But as a broke student, I couldn't afford my car. It didn't break, don't worry. Alright, where was I? I did the second best thing though. I reduced my dependency from one person. I made sure that I always have a backup so that if one friend bailed out on me, I always could ask another person. Now, I'm not saying that your friend will bail out on you. What I'm saying is that they have life too. Things might come up in their life as well. This way, at least you have some control over your life. So if you cannot completely eliminate your dependency, always have a backup plan. Reduce your expectations from people and always be prepared that other person might not do exactly what they promise. When you have this backup plan, when you have this control, the entire power dynamic changes. You no longer become angry or sad because they didn't do what you hoped for, because you are always prepared. You are no longer the hopeless one.
But reducing dependency was just a beginning. What I discovered next was even more transformative. It was simple yet very powerful changes in your daily interactions. Are you curious? I hope so, because let's get into strategy number 2. Strategy number 2, make others dependent on you. This strategy will not only bring control in your life, it will bring absolute power. And let me tell you this power is mesmerizing. This power is captivating. This power brings new kind of confidence in you. Now, I can guarantee that you might have felt this power at some point in your life. I'm talking about that feeling of being wanted, that feeling of being desired by somebody, the feeling of knowing that somebody needs you. I'm talking about that feeling. And that feeling is one of the greatest things human can ever feel. And this can only be achieved when you make others dependent on you. Let me take you back to the moment when I realized the power of making others dependent on you. 2 years back, I was working in this company as a graduate engineer, and there was this guy who everybody looked for the guidance. Now, interesting thing was that he wasn't a CEO, he wasn't a director, he wasn't even a manager. He was a regular employee, just an employee. But the interesting fact was that he was making more money than CEO at the time. Now the question remains, how can a regular employee make more money than CEO of an organization? I'll tell you why. Because he had made entire organization rely on him. He has been working there for 30 years, and during 30 years, he has learned every single thing about the organization. How the budget works, how the finances works, how the board members operate, every single thing. There were information about plans, designs, assets that he knew nobody could find anywhere else. Even people like CEO has to rely on him for his ability to connect dots, his knowledge of organization, and his skills to resolve historical problems from 30 years ago. Watching him, I realized that he had made himself indispensable to that company. He may not have fancy titles, but he had the true power to influence, true power to say what he wants, true power to make changes he wants. Now the question remains, how can you make yourself indispensable to others? And what specific action that you can take? I'll tell you how. First, you need to write down what you are good at, what you can offer that others find valuable. It could be skill, knowledge, or even resources. For me, I've realized that I'm very good at understanding people's problem and listening to people. What is your unique offering? Comment down below, I want to know. But before you write it down, I want you to think. I want you to think that what is one thing that you're really good at that others often seek help for. Once you have identified your strength, be very generous with it. Don't be stingy. Offer help without expecting anything in return. The key is to build a reputation as a valuable and reliable person. When I started listening to people, understanding their problems and their issues, it made them feel validated. Now think about it. In a world where people are so self-centered, always thinking about themselves, so selfish, if I am the one providing them a shoulder to cry on, a hand to hold, an ear to listen to, in their eye, I become very valuable. Because nobody is providing them what I'm giving them. It makes them emotionally dependent on me. When they are emotionally dependent on you, you don't just gain influence, but you build network of support and trust. This strategy will not only help you control your social life, but it will make you indispensable in other people's life as well. Now you understand how increasing dependency can empower you. Let me tell you third strategy. This third strategy was a game changer, but it didn't come easy. Strategy number 3. Understand who matters and cut the rest. This strategy is all about focusing on right people and cutting the rest. I know it sounds harsh, but This is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. Trust me, it is so liberating and empowering to know that there's no toxic people in your life. It is all about quality over quantity in your social connections. Let me tell you a story of how I learned this lesson the hard way. When I first moved to New Zealand, I was desperate to make friends and try to fit in. I would attend every social gathering, meet everyone that I could, and try to maintain as many relationships as possible. But something wasn't right. Despite having a large social circle, I felt drained and unfulfilled. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt surrounded by so many people, yet utterly alone? This is exactly what I felt. 2 years ago, I had a turning point. I was overwhelmed with maintaining relationships that added no value in my life. There was one particular incident that really opened my eyes. I was going through a very rough time in my relationship, and the people I considered my friends, I looked for help. But none of them were interested or too busy to help. At that moment, I realized that I've been investing my time and energy in wrong places. It was time to change. I know that it is tough to let people go, especially if you have known them for a very long time. But sometimes it is absolutely necessary for your own well-being and growth. Ask yourself, who brings positivity and growth in your life? Who in your life truly supports you? And who are the ones that drains your energy without giving anything in return? Here is how you can use this strategy in your life. Start by listing the people who really matters to you. People who supports you, people who inspires you, and people who makes you feel valued. For me, it is a small circle of people, friends and mentors who always had my back. After that, take a hard look at your broader social circles. Who you spend time with out of obligations rather than genuine connections. Who brings negativity in your life? Who drains your energy? It is time to reassess these relationships. Once you have identified who matters, set a boundary with those who don't. This doesn't mean that you completely cut them out of your life. It only means that reassessing your time and energy for those who truly matters. Politely decline their invitations or limit interactions who are not adding value to your life. It is time to focus on deepening your relationship with the key people in your life. Spend more quality time with them, support them, and let them know that how much they truly mean to you. This will not only strengthen your bond but creates a supportive network around you. It is natural to feel guilty of distancing yourself from certain people, but remember, it is all about you, your growth and your well-being. Letting go of toxic people will only make more space for positive relationships to flourish. Now you have learned how to focus on right people. Let's move on to next strategy. This next strategy is as crucial but often overlooked. This strategy is all about finding strength and contentment within yourself. Let's reveal. Strategy number 4. Okay being alone. Let me tell you, the power of solitude and being comfortable with yourself can really enhance your social influence and personal growth. It's all about finding peace and strength within your own company. Let me take you back to the pivotal time in my life when I truly understand the importance of being okay with being alone. It was particularly difficult time in my life, very challenging, but this realization has helped me how I view myself and the interaction with others. As I mentioned before, 2 years ago I started focusing on real and meaningful relationships and started cutting the toxic ones out. When I did that, I found myself a lot more free time. At first it was uncomfortable, because even though I was around people, I was surrounded by somebody to occupy my time. But now I found myself alone more often than not. I remember one weekend, all of my close friends were busy and I had no plans. Initially, I felt this pang of loneliness, but then I decided to make most out of it. Have you ever felt that emptiness when you are by yourself? That feeling of FOMO, the fear of missing out, and the feeling that you are nothing without the company of others. It is a common feeling, trust me, I feel that a lot. But here's the truth, being alone doesn't mean being lonely. It is just an opportunity to connect with yourself. Here is how you can do it. Next time you find yourself alone, engage in activities that you love but might have been neglected. For me, it is listening to books in Audible. It not only helps me fulfill my time but also enrich my body and mind. Make this time to reflect on your life, your goals and your values. Journaling helped me a lot. Writing down my thoughts, my aspiration and my fear brought a lot of clarity and peace. You can use this time to focus on your personal growth. Set goals that you can achieve independently without relying on others. This could be new skill, new project, or even improving your health and fitness. Let me tell you one thing. Silence can be very powerful. It is in quiet moments that we often find the profound insights. Embrace the silence. Let it guide you towards the inner peace and strength. I remember one evening, after a long hike, I was sitting in the hilltop, watching this beautiful sunset. At that moment of solitude, I felt this deep sense of contentment. At that moment, I realized that being alone doesn't mean that I was missing out. It just means that I was gaining deeper understanding of myself. This newfound self-assurance made me more confident in my life. By becoming comfortable with your own solitude, you build this strong foundation of self-reliance and confidence. This inner strength radiates outwards, making you more attractive and influential to others. Alright, let's get into next strategy. This strategy is what makes you stand out and amplify your presence. Strategy number 5. Be a good actor. You might have noticed as well, some people have this magnetic pull. Everybody wants their advice, their help, even companionship. What if I tell you that this is not luck, but a deliberate strategy? I'm going to tell you something that probably nobody has ever told you before. Ready? Charismatic people are incredibly good actors. When I discovered this, it was quite a bit of surprise. Before this point, I used to go to interactions without much forethoughts. Just going with the flow, saying whatever came to my mind. But the truth is, charismatic people don't leave anything to the chance. They don't go with the flow. Their every step, their every move, their every action is carefully planned beforehand. They have thought about every possible outcome even before it happened. They are prepared. They treat people like a test subject, tailoring to their strategies, their style, and sometimes even their appearance. One of the classic examples is Taylor Swift. I made a video about Taylor Swift. You should go and check it out. The link is in the description. But wait, don't go before you finish this video, okay? You might have somebody in your life as well who perfectly understands you, as if they know exactly what to say and how to say it. Do you think this is coincidence? I don't think so. Your charismatic person, whoever it is, perfectly understands your desires, your needs and your insecurities. They adjust their strategies accordingly when they are around you. Next time when you are with them, just notice that, how they act in front of you and how they are acting in front of other people. Now think about it. If you have thought about every possible outcome in your life, every possible things that could go wrong, you would become absolutely indispensable. People will be charmed with your ability to handle conflict. That's why it is very important to understand what charismatic people do. And now I will tell you how you can utilize this in your life. Next time when you meet somebody, I want you to think these things. Doesn't matter how small the interactions is, take a moment to reflect on these questions. What is this person wanting from you? What are their interests? What is this person worried about? Consider different ways that conversation could go and prepare responses that align with their interest and their needs. Be flexible with your communication style as well. If somebody is more formal, match their formality, and if they're more relaxed, adopt a casual tone. You need to pay attention to their response as well and adjust your approach in real time. Are they engaged? Do they seem uncomfortable? Use these clues to guide your behavior. After you finish your conversation with them, this strategy doesn't end there. You need to reflect. Reflect on what went well and reflect on what didn't go well. Use this insight to improve your future interactions. By treating life as a stage and becoming a good actor, you can navigate any social settings with ease and confidence. That's all from me. Now you have learned 5 strategies. 5 powerful strategies that has ability to change your life forever. Now is the time to put that into practice. Share in the comment below what strategy that you most resonate with. And don't forget to check Taylor Swift video. The link is in the description. Until next week, see ya.